What happened here last August. The jurors are hearing all this nonsense out here. They're going to be concerned about what's going to happen to the citizens of Kenosha, and they have the fate of one man in their hands, but the fate of the city as well. And they know that, and how that plays out in their minds, you can't predict, I can't predict. I wish they didn't have to have that choice.
What's your thoughts on the governor deploying 500 National Guardsmen? From what I understand, they're a little closer to Kenosha right now than they were yesterday. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that if he'd done that August 25th of last year, we wouldn't be here today.
What do you think about the judge throwing out the weapons charge?
Well, you know, from what I understand, the weapons charge required the gun to be a short-barreled rifle, barrel less than 16 inches. A 5-year-old could have looked at that gun in the first photograph and seen that it was not a short-barreled rifle.
What about you say about the defendant hanging over the judge?
The defendant hanging over the judge?
Yeah, the individual.
What do you mean?
Well, he was bending over the judge and they took a photo and what happened.
I don't know.
Picking out evidence that's nothing. Have you ever seen that happen before?
I've not seen it in this case. I must have missed that picture.
What's your thoughts on a lot of the media is painting this as a racial issue. This is about white supremacy when there hasn't really been any factual documentation to link white supremacy to Kyle Rittenhouse. But what's your thoughts on that? Because it seems like this is a racial trial.
The media has made it that. Obviously, all the people involved in this were Caucasians. The president of the United States, when running for president, called Kyle Rittenhouse a white supremacist with absolutely no evidence to support it. This is a media narrative-driven issue. Has nothing to do with what's actually going on in that trial. It's not a racial thing. It's a young man who came up here to help out his fellow citizens that got attacked by other white men. And there's no race involved in this at all. But without race involvement, you guys wouldn't be here. These people wouldn't be here. I'd still be here because it'd still be a Second Amendment issue.
Some people, there are reports that the jury is a little bit intimidated about the crowd outside. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Wouldn't you be? That's my thought about that. I mean, they can hear it in there. They have to, and I was saying to this gentleman, they've got to know that the fate of the one man they have directly in front of them is one thing, but the fate of the city is another. And they can't be ignorant of the fact that there are threats being made. And this is jury intimidation. It's intended to be jury intimidation. And it strikes at the very basis of Anglo-Saxon, Anglo-American jurisprudence going back to the 13th century. And to have this kind of intimidation going on is just reprehensible to me.
Why do you think a guilty verdict would bring violence or would bring non-violence, but a non-guilty verdict would bring violence? Why is that the case?
I've never seen a civil riot of people come. I don't think I'm going to be a very effective rioter. Let me say it that way. I'm not threatening anybody. I'm not screaming. I don't hear any. It seems to be very one-sided up there. And so I would not anticipate that a guilty verdict would inspire who? I don't see any rabid pro Kyle Rittenhouse rioters here waiting to torch things. It just doesn't happen.
But an innocent verdict would bring violence throughout the city.
And why is that?
Possibly throughout the nation.
And why would that be?
The reason being is because they know a lot of black people get into their emotions, and a lot of black people will go out and burn stuff because they feel that they don't have a voice. But that doesn't solve anything. It has absolutely nothing to do with it, but for some reason we have the media that will bring that into it.
If all you folks would report the real story instead of making it a black versus white media event, the city of Kenosha wouldn't have to worry about this. The city of St. Louis wouldn't have to worry about this. If the facts of this case were actually accurately portrayed by the media, this would not be here.
So what about
Sorry about hitting your mic all the time.
What about Biden saying that Kyle Rittenhouse is a white supremacist because he interjected that as well.
President Biden, Kamala Harris, Maxine Waters, in connection with the Derek Chauvin case, we're all fanning the flames. They're all, Maxine Waters is saying that the jury isn't what we want. If the verdict doesn't come out the way we want, we have to be even more confrontational, inciting riot. They believe that the mob rule will intimidate people. And I've said this before, the mob is being used like the brown shirts as a intimidation arm of the left.
So one last question. What do you say about Antifa and BLM being known as the foot soldiers for the Democrat Party?
I think I just said that. I think it's. I believe that. Anyway, I'm gonna do my walkabout. Thank you very much, guys.
There you have it. Mark McCloskey running for Senate, making an appearance here in front of the courthouse.